Are the new TaoTronics SoundSurge 90 the new budget ANC king? How do they compare to all of TaoTronics' other budget ANC headphones, namely the SoundSurge 55s, 60s and 85s? Well, watch to the end and find out. Don't forget to check the affiliate links in the description below for the latest price on these, as they actually have $10 off at the time of recording, making them just $60 or £55. Now, I was sent these by TaoTronics in exchange for my honest opinion, so that is exactly what I'm going to share with you guys today, including pros and cons with zero filter. So let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Mark here, and I'm back to review some more affordable tech in my quest to sort the God tier from the garbage and hopefully save you some hard-earned money in the process. And today we're going to be looking at the TaoTronics new SoundSurge 90s, which are essentially an upgraded version of the SoundSurge 60, which came out a few months ago. But whilst they may look similar, there have been a lot of improvements here, so let's get right into it. So here's the main headlines. Bluetooth 5.0, they ship with a hard shell case, a pretty damn good one actually. They completely fold up, they've got ANC, great battery life, and they can be fully charged from 0 to 100% in just 45 minutes. Here's the negatives though, micro USB charging, and I know that will be a deal breaker for some of you guys, so I just thought I'd get that out of the way first of all. I'll be rating these headphones out of 10 in 7 different categories. So build and design, battery life, comfort and fit, microphone quality, functionality and usability, ANC performance, and finally the big one, sound quality. Then at the end, I'll give them a final score out of 10, but let's start with build and design first of all. Without beating around the bush here, the build quality for $60 is absolutely outrageous. I already love the design of the older SoundSurge 60s, which is exactly what we're getting here. Well, almost. Instead of the plasticky finish on the 60s, with the 90s we've got a nice cold metal finish on each ear cup, something even high-end headphones rarely feature. The button controls have been upgraded and are some of the best I've seen in budget headphones so far. And yes, these headphones can actually fully fold up. That's actually not all that common in budget headphones, which makes the 90s a hell of a lot more portable. Plus, they didn't creak at all during my stress test and were extremely flexible as well. Does anyone else miss Jim's review room as much as I do? Not that he died, he just... never mind. Anyway, that's a very high 9 out of 10 for build here. Personally, I can still tell that they're a budget pair of headphones, hence not giving them a 10. But seriously, wow. Because at this price point, you will not find better build or design anywhere else. Needless to say, it's far better than the 60s, 55s and 85s. Round 2 is all about battery life, and at 35 hours on a single charge, that puts them well above even high-end ANC headphones, as well as of course the SoundSurge 55s and 60s, with only the 85s just beating them with 40 hours on a single charge. Then throw in on top of that the fast charging speeds, and that's easily a 9 out of 10 for battery life from me, because this is some of the best battery life among all ANC headphones out there. In terms of comfort, bearing in mind that I apparently have a large head, the 90s did give me ear fatigue after about 30 to 45 minutes. Whilst they do fit nice and securely and the padding on the ear cups is pretty good, the clamping force is quite strong for my head size, meaning that the $40 SoundSurge 85s are still more comfortable for me. So that's going to be a 7 out of 10 for fit and comfort. Don't get me wrong, they're definitely secure, but hopefully they'll loosen up a little bit the more that I use them. Next up is the microphone test, where I'll be testing call quality with and without background noise. You're listening to the mic quality right now, so what do you think? Overall, it's actually pretty decent, though does anyone feel like I sound quite far away? But how will the 90s fare when I introduce that background noise in 3, 2, 1? Now, there's no mention of clear voice capture here, but I could definitely hear some effort to reduce background noise just a second after it was introduced. Either way, fortunately my voice remains the main focus here, which is great, though the initial call quality wasn't anything special to start with. So that's going to be a 6 out of 10 for microphone quality. The initial quality wasn't anything special to start with, and it's certainly nothing compared to the 85s and 55s, both of which have clear voice capture 8. In round 4, I'm going to be testing the 90s in terms of their ANC performance, so let's take a listen.
ANC on.
As you could probably hear, the ANC is actually great. It does a decent job at reducing those low rumbles, engine noise, background noise, making its performance almost indistinguishable from the 60s and 85s. However, the ANC definitely isn't as strong as it is in the 55s, which for me are still the king of ANC performance at this price point. The one thing that gives the 90s an edge over the 60s and the 85s is that it doesn't have that ANC switch, which, unless turned off when you power your headphones off, will continue to drain your battery even when your headphones are off. With the 90s, ANC simply turns off when you power down your headphones, exactly as it should. So that's a 7 out of 10 for ANC performance, definitely way better than tons of cheaper options out there, but not quite the best as far as TaoTronics' other ANC headphones go. Next, I'll be looking at functionality and usability, starting with audio-visual lag. The good news here is that there's next to none, and that was the case for the 55s, 60s and 85s too, so that's pretty much level pegging across the board. Bluetooth connection has always been rock solid for me, as again it always fortunately seems to be with TaoTronics products. I personally would love to see touch controls start to pop up at this price point, especially in 2020, but at just over $60 I cannot complain here. The lack of USB-C port is probably the only thing I can groan about in this section, especially when the more expensive 55s do have one, so it's definitely possible. So I'm going to give the 90s a 7 out of 10 for functionality and usability. Obviously, I'd love to see a USB-C port, and if TaoTronics started to introduce stuff like touch controls, a companion app with custom equalizer settings, and maybe varied levels of ANC like the 55s had, then you definitely see me throw out a solid 10 out of 10 here, so there's definitely room for improvement. However, just the fact that ANC turns itself off alone is actually quite a big deal, because this is one of the cheapest options in ANC headphones to actually do that. The final round here is the most important of all, sound quality. But before we dive into it, please make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell to join me on my quest to uncover some of the best budget tech in 2020 and beyond. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram too for Photoshop edits of all the stuff I review here on the channel as well. Go comment on my latest photo if there's anything you think I should review next. But until then, let's just talk sound quality. As with 90% of budget ANC headphones out there, we've got a strong bass boosted sound profile here, so audiophiles, you might want to close your ears.
ANC off. ANC on.
This isn't just any bass boosted sound profile. For once, it actually has the mids and highs to back it up. The bass also doesn't come across muddy or boomy at any points, which is pretty rare in budget ANC headphones. If I'm honest, the mids are a little heavy on the low mids, meaning vocals can then sound thick and begin to battle it out with the bass for center stage. However, highs are surprisingly bright for a pair of $60 headphones, and they're undoubtedly present in the mix without either sounding too quiet or sounding too harsh. The soundstage here is definitely wider than anything else I've heard at this price, though a better separation of mids and bass would help improve things here. The 90s could also be a little bit louder, but on the bright side, they do manage to maintain a respectable clarity at max volume. With ANC switched off, the sound signature is fortunately pretty similar whether it's on or off, unlike some of other TaoTronics headphones and other budget headphones, though you will lose a little bit of bass without it switched on, so bear that in mind. Comparison wise, the sound quality here is a huge improvement over the SoundSurge 55s, 60s and 85s. Honestly, there is no competition here, but even though the 90s can still be absolutely stomped by a pair of $250 ANC headphones in terms of sound quality, and so they should be, it's actually a little scary how close the gap between these $60 headphones and a pair that are quadruple the price is slowly becoming. So my score for sound quality, with price factored in of course, I'm going to drop a 9 out of 10 for sound quality here, though it's of course far from perfect. Considering the price point, this level of sound quality shouldn't really be possible. The sound quality on the 90s is noticeably stronger than any other TaoTronics ANC headphones that I've tried, and almost every other competitor product as well around this price. So, final score time. The TaoTronics SoundSurge 90 scored a 54 out of a possible 70, which is a respectable 7.7 out of 10. The pros here are insane sound quality, great battery life, and solid build quality. The cons are no USB-C and lower than average microphone quality. But for me, obviously, the ultimate factor is always sound quality above all else, within reason. And the 90s undeniably beat the more expensive 55s and the cheaper 60s and 85s hands down. And whilst I can't help but wish the 90s had better mic quality, a USB-C port, and the ANC performance of the 55s, even without those, and for $40 less than the 55s, these are undoubtedly the best sounding headphones under $100. Now that you've watched this video, you definitely need to watch my cross-comparison review of the TaoTronics SoundSurge 46, 55 and 85 by clicking here, or you can check out my review of the MPOW H19 and H19 IPO ANC headphones here. So pick one of those and I'll see you in the next video.